Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this weekend. Oh boy, what a week it has been. And today, of course, today's Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all of the mums out there. Um, comes once a year. For some reason, it always seems to fall on the same day as my show. Go figure, go figure. But yeah, welcome to the weekend. We had a pretty good ending to the week. We had a green. We had a little bit of green going into the weekend. That is never too shabby, of course. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, guys. This should be a fun day. This should be a fun day. We of course still have our news and everything else, and of course everything that you guys bring to the show. We have that as well. Um, let's start with Jonathan. Am I late for a recount? No, you're not. Now, there's been a lot of news, counting news, actually. Um, just this weekend, a recount came in on a riding in Quebec, north. I think it was just north of Montreal. Um, it flipped. They did a recount, and guys, if anybody ever tells you your vote does not matter, well, after a recount, this riding that we thought the Bloc had won has flipped to the Liberals. The Liberal candidate has won by one vote. One vote. So if you think your vote doesn't count, oh boy, this riding kind of proves that it does. So that does take the Liberals up to 170 seats. They're still in a minority. Now, there are three. I believe right now there's three recounts still going on. Now, you might be thinking, ooh, maybe the Liberals can move into majority with those three. No, unlikely, because they already lead in all three of the ridings that are being recounted. So they could lose a couple of seats maybe, or it might just stay exactly the way it is. But yeah, you're not late for a recount at all. Prairie is in the house with a good afternoon, Candace and community. Happy Sunday. Jersky says, hello, good afternoon. Vic is in the house with a happy Mother's Day. King of Day says, hello, everyone. Happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the house. Yeah, absolutely. Or the mothers who are watching this on the replay. You guys count too, for sure. Bismarcky says, hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And Vic says, gonna make mama proud. We'll dance at Pink Pony Club. I don't know what a Pink Pony Club is. But hey, if it works out. I think in your case, Vic, you'll make your mom proud when you pay the rent. Because everybody, of course, if you forgot, Vic lives in his mom's basement. We got Mary in the house with a hello, everyone, and that means, guys, it's time to hit that like button. I'm gonna have some coffee. I am back to the Yeti for this one because the Sunday show goes a little bit long, and well, what can I say? It's I need more coffee. I need more coffee than the little mug will hold. So here we go. Very, very good. It's an annoying song. Okay. So we'll dance at a Pink Pony Club. I'm not familiar with the song, but I will honestly admit I listen to a lot of 80s music. Like most of my workout stuff, it's all stuff from the 80s. So I don't listen to a lot of current stuff. Some stuff sneaks in, but yeah, mostly 80s stuff. And you guys have probably known we get into these little 80s things every so often on the show for sure. Oh boy. Well, let's jump into our first story. Let's get into it. Unemployment. So we had our unemployment report. Our jobs numbers dropped there on Friday. Unemployment, oh boy, it ticked up a little bit. It came in at 6.9%. They actually had forecasted to tick up a little bit to 6.8 because last month it was at 6.7. But yeah, unemployment definitely picking up some steam. When it comes to total jobs, we added 7,000 400 jobs. That's it. They had actually forecasted 12,000. So jobs not looking great, coming in light across the board. Now, if we break those jobs down full time, we added 21.5 thousand jobs. Part-time, we lost 24.2 thousand jobs. Wages, average wage hike was sitting at 3.5%. Now, that actually came in a little hotter than expected. They thought it was going to be down to 3.0%. What can I say? The tariffs are hitting. The fear of the tariffs are hitting. Companies they're starting to behave like a recession, and that means laying people off. Now, one sector that got hit the hardest last month was the manufacturing sector. So the manufacturing sector, they actually shed 31,000 jobs in April as well. Well, those tariffs, they're hampering them big time, especially if what you're manufacturing is if it's typically exported. If it's exported across the border, you don't need to make as many because those orders are going to start dropping big time. Now, there's also, it's kind of interesting, the numbers may actually be worse than we think. And I'll tell you why. Because we had an election. And because of that election, there was a lot of temporary employment. Everybody from counting, all the people working at the polling stations, at the, you got to hire some people to have an election. So that sort of offset some of that unemployment. So it may actually be a little bit worse next month. I'm a little scared of next month's numbers. Unemployment could easily tick up to 7% next month, maybe higher. I don't know. I'm hoping not. But what can I say? Jobs numbers absolutely sucked. There's no ands, ifs about it. I've seen a lot of fear mongering on YouTube about these jobs numbers, talking about Canada's falling apart. It's over. It's all done. Well, no, it's not. It's just not great numbers. It's not the end of Canada. It's not the end of the world. But yeah. Oh well. Let's see. Vic says Chapel Roan. Now, see, I don't even know who Chapel Roan is. Pink Pony Club refers to a LGBTQ club that is welcoming. Okay, all right. I've never heard that saying before in my life. David says, when do we get HHIS in USD? I don't know. I actually don't know if do they pay their dividend in USD? Let's check. I didn't think they did. I thought it was Canadian, but we can take a look here. HHIS. We will bring it up and let's see here. No, they pay in Canadian. They pay it in Canadian. So I'm not sure what you're asking, I guess. Bleak says, we'll get back here to the regular one. Bleak says, greetings. Hello, Bleak. Always good to see you. Paul is in the house with a good afternoon. Bismarcky says, I've been cutting back my spending. I don't even remember what my Amazon delivery guy looks like. Uh-oh. I'll give you a hint. It's usually a white truck. At least it is here. Anytime Amazon is delivering, it's almost always in one of them white rented vans. At least here. Let's see. David says, Canadian government is trying to destroy Canada and give them credit. They're doing well. Oh, boy. Vic says, TTD, have a look at the trade desk chart. What is TTD? All right, let's go take a look. TTD. I don't recognize TTD. Tinkering Studios? I don't know if I don't think that's where you want me to go, Vic. But yeah, Tinkering Studios. I'm not sure. I'm going to leave that be because I have a feeling I'm just heading down the wrong direction on that one. All right. Let's go back to the big screen here. It is in Canadian. Yes, absolutely. Paul says, let's see. The job numbers would have been worse if no elections Canada temporary workers. Exactly. That sort of helped buffer the jobs up a little bit, making it a little better. Definitely, for sure. All right. Now let's let's get to our next story. So, guys, as we know, last weekend, Warren Buffett announced that he's going to retire at the end of the year. Now, well, the Omaha of the Oracle of Omaha. I was going to say the Omaha of Oracle, but no, the Oracle of Omaha. He's been grooming this guy, a guy by the name of Greg Abel, and he's gonna this is him. This is him up here in the picture. He's going to be basically he's going to run Berkshire's, and I believe it's roughly $1.2 trillion portfolio. And here's the thing: he is a Canadian. He's actually from Edmonton, so that's pretty cool. Now, who the heck is he though? Who is Greg Abel? Well, he has been at Berkshire Hathaway since 1992, and he's been the number one choice for Buffett's. Basically, for Buffett to hand the reins of the company over to for quite a while. Now, so far, he has led the company's non-insurance business for years, and he's been praised by Buffett for his basically his business chops. And apparently, he is a very good fit with the Berkshire culture of long-term thinking. So he's a long-term thinker, pretty darn good. His first job, once he takes over the reins of the company, is, as you guys know, Buffett's been parking some cash. He's been moving more things into a cash position. Right now, I believe that cash position that they're sitting at around $350 billion. So that will be one of Abel's first jobs, is figuring out what to do with that cash position. Is he still going to add to it, or is it time to start, going shopping, or wait out the volatile market? We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But Greg Abel from Edmonton. All right. Very cool. Very, very cool. And now I'm at a loss. I just realized I do not know if they have the third game for the Edmonton series. The last I heard, the Edmonton was leading 2-0. So, I imagine Greg is pretty happy with the Edmonton Oilers as well. Let's see, TTD Trade Desk. All right, on an NYD, I think, or NASDAQ. Okay, yeah. Will you replace Buffett? Yeah, I didn't get an offer. I was waiting by the phone. Unless, of course, it was one of them unknown name, unknown numbers, which I pretty much just send those straight to voicemail. So it could have been. Maybe I missed it. Sorry. Well, Greg picked up the slack. Paul says, I gradually returned to part-time work on May 16th. Add to the stats. Nice. So I assume your foot is doing much better. For those of you who forgot, Paul had a little bit of a accident with his foot a while back. I think he broke it. So yeah. OMAC Buffett's ETF. Interesting. Or OMAH. Okay. Very interesting. Yeah. I mean, the other thing too is, I mean, if you've ever seen the price of Berkshire Hathaway, it's up there. It's up there. Now there is a second one. There is another ticker that's a little bit cheaper, but it's kind of getting up there too now at this point. But keep in mind, if you want to invest in Berkshire Hathaway both with Questrade and Wealthsimple, you can do fractional shares. So that is always an option. Jersky says, any thought on TXF? I'm thinking of selling it and moving about half of it into HHIS and about half into something else in the future. All right. Let's go take a gander. TX and good old F. All right. So this is one of those CI ones. CI Tech Giants covered call ETF. And we'll take a look. And, I don't mind this ETF. It's just that you're not getting a huge yield. There's a lot better options out there if your goal is income. And for example, HHIS, definitely one that has a lot of income. What is it? Is HHIS, is it 20? It's either 20, somewhere between 23 and 25. So you got a lot going on in there for sure. Um, yeah, I think it makes sense. CI is one of those, and I'm trying to think, what are they? What's the name of I think the company's name is Galaxy or something like that. But I've never been a huge fan of their ETFs. They're fine, but I just find that a lot of the bigger companies do them just as well. So, yeah, I would be okay with that. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I think that's not too bad. Danielle says, "What do you think of Duro Clean Technologies?" All right, let's go in. Let's go in. Here we go. Duro Clean Technologies, and I've had people ask me about this one before. Um, Let me just pull up here. So as you can see, they haven't been around that long. But here's the thing with this company. I'm always a little hesitant when a brand new company comes out because as we're trying to get our footings, how much of that price that we're seeing, how much is just simply hype? So hype is something I want to be a little bit careful about. But here's the thing. What this company has done. So they have, and it mentions it right here. So they have a novel. Novel basically just means new. So they have a new chemical conversion process to transform waste products and low-grade renewable oils into renewable fuels and specialty chemicals. So that's kind of cool. That could be a game changer. So when I look at something like that, that does get me excited. Now, when I look at the fact that it's new, that has the opposite impact on me. So right now, we don't have a lot of data. So this is still in that territory where I would call it pure speculation. Like what they do sounds great. I would be, if I wanted to get involved with this company, one of the things I would do is I would be on their website. I would be devouring everything I can find out about them. And then even then, I probably would take a conservative, a very measured approach, But at the same time, you know, I can see the potential there. But you always have to sort of dial it back to logic and just sort of say, okay, yeah, they have, they have what sounds to be a really good potential here. It could be a game-changing technology. It could be, but I would want to be very careful just because this is the type of company. It's so easy to get pulled in big time. And some of these companies that you get pulled in big time, you can end up losing big time as a result. I'm not saying that that's going to happen with this company, but I'm just saying that when you do your due diligence with a company like this, really, really do your due diligence for sure. All right. Bismarcky. Oh, Edmonton lost last night. Let's see, 0.4 seconds left and Vegas scored. Oh my God. That's never good. Philly says, do you recommend the CDRs of Berkshire Hathaway? So CDRs, CIBC does those, and basically certificate of depository receipt. I like CDRs for U.S. exposure. They are a nice way to get access. So for in this case here with Berkshire, it's basically, they're buying Berkshire and then they're breaking them into their own shares, these CDRs. You're going to still, you will do fine. I mean, you'll do fine with it. I do like CDRs, especially if you want to kind of just sort of keep yourself out of the whole, holding U.S. stocks. So instead of holding U.S. stocks and dealing with conversion and everything, I think CDRs are absolutely ideal. And one of the beautiful things too with CIBC and these CDRs, they've added some German companies. So now most of them are U.S., but I believe there's is it 4? I think there's 4 CDRs for different German companies. I think Volkswagen might be one of them, if I remember correctly. Bitcoin, 104.4K after Trump China announcement. yeah, Bitcoin is just doing absolutely fantastic. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of this is going to boil down. And this is kind of what happened. I mean, towards the end of the week, in the middle of the week, we of course had the whole deal with the UK, and that certainly helped bring a little bit more stability to the market. So we did have some green days to end out the week. And I'm feeling right now that's kind of the phase that we're going into. That basically, and what's kind of the best for the market is if we get a trickle of countries coming in making announcements with or deals with Trump. That can help keep the market a little bit strong. And we could end up, if that were to happen for the rest of this month without any major other crises that Trump creates, we could actually end up with a green month. We could end up with a green month. And I mean, we'll just take a look here. This blue line. So here's the TSX. Now, I always put a blue line in here. I use this for the market closes, but I put a blue line in here to show where we began the month. So if we're above the blue line, we're in a green month. If we're below it, we're in a red month. And TSX, look at that. We're doing pretty well. We're pretty high above here. I get it also. This is the S&P 500. Now, the S&P 500, they're not doing as well as the TSX right now, but I think there's a good chance we could stay above this blue line, depending on how this all rolls out. All right. Let's see. David saying HHIS $3 a year. Michael says, Kello Candace, did you decide to keep Timber Creek as it has improved recently? So yes, I did. So yeah, I was sitting in the challenge. I had three. So I had Timber Creek Financial. So that's they're basically an MIC, mortgage investment company, RioCan, which is a REIT, and then Armax, which of course is the ETF. So I decided I wanted to sort of limit my REIT only because the way the market has moved, and also with the Bay, with Timber Creek, with RioCan losing the Bay, I was like, well, you know what? I think I'm going to back out of RioCan right now. So I did. I backed out of RioCan. I put some of that into Timber Creek, and some of it into Armax. So yeah. So right now I'm down to Armax and Timber Creek Financial as my two real estate plays for the moment. Yeah, and I think that was when did I sell? This was almost at the beginning of the month. So I got into Timber Creek before they started making a little bit of recovery. So that's not bad. That's not bad. I like it. All right. Paul says hype means reverts just as fast as the run up. Yeah, it can. It can. Oh, really? Bismarck, he says there's no fractional shares for Berkshire, the expensive one on Wealthsimple. Interesting. I did not know that. I guess maybe Wealthsimple doesn't think there's enough interest in it because they have to buy the full shares, right? If there's not enough interest in fractional shares, they're basically just they would have to sit on Berkshire. And yeah, I can see why maybe they're not doing that. Interesting. Vic says Oilers literally shot themselves in the foot. Oh, did they score on themselves, Vic? Is that what happened? Oh my gosh. I remember years ago, I can't remember who it was. Was it Edmonton? There was some in the playoffs. There was a guy behind the net and he went to shoot it out and he caught the back of the pad of his own goaltender and it put it into the net. And I think it cost them like a series. I can't remember who it was. I thought it might have been Edmonton, but now this would have been like maybe 20 years ago. Like we're not talking yesterday, but did they do it again? Is that what happened? Because that's crazy. Paul says my ASST investment Wednesday afternoon, then 2 a.m. PST Thursday, watching the stock, then selling after 90.5 was no fun. Worrying if this all social media hype, why I don't like the new stuff. Yeah. And yeah, so ASST, let's go over there, guys, because this was an interesting one because we talked about this one on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we were looking. Okay, so this here, where was Wednesday? Something like in here. So this here had happened. And I was a little concerned as we were sitting about here. And I was a little concerned with this one. I was like, well, it's a fairly, it's kind of one of those things where it feels like it's right for a correction. Now, the other thing too is that this, they are, they're putting a lot of, I think they're putting crypto on their balance sheet. So I was kind of like, we could get, and we did get a tiny correction, but then it exploded. So I was kind of being cautious here. Anybody who didn't listen to me on this one, congratulations, because that's crazy. But yeah, it did explode. But I mean, crypto exploded. Look right now. Look at Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin sitting here, new high, not a new high, but 104,424. It feels like a new high, but it's not their. I still think before we go into a crypto winter, I'm still thinking Bitcoin will get up to 120K before that happens. So it could be interesting. I'm not saying that we're on the way there now, but I do think it will happen. All right. Buddha asks, is Dollarama a buy at this price or too late? Let's take a look and see where Dollarama is at right now. Now, Dollarama, they're a recession-proof company. So this here is something I do like about them. Now, if you take a look here, they have, and I'm actually going to go further back. They've been on this upward trajectory. Now, they know how to expand, and that's been one of the stories of Dollarama. Dollarama has been expanding like crazy, and they're not stopping. They have plans for a whole bunch of new stores in Canada, and they bought a company, sort of a similar type company in Australia that they're going to give the Dollarama treatment to. So they've got big expansion plans in Australia, big expansion plans in Canada. So right now, and I'll tell you, back in here. So, in like middle of 2024, people were asking me, is it too late? They're at all-time highs again. They can't keep going up. Well, look what they did. They've practically almost doubled, like 111 to 166. So are they going to keep going up? There's a chance. I don't think they're going to go up as steep, only because there's going to be a lot of external pressures. We got the tariffs right now. So how are the tariffs affecting them? Some of their items are sourced from the U.S. So those items will have tariffs. Well, depending on the list that Ottawa keeps, and if Ottawa keeps expanding them, but some of their items are going to be impacted by tariffs. Some of their sourcing, so they are actively looking to other markets to see if they can source those items from places other than the States. If they're successful, that's great. Now, that's kind of one thing. That's kind of I would say that's a moderate impact. The next big thing is a recession. So as people lose jobs, as a recession starts coming on, well, guess what? If you don't have as much money, are you going to Walmart to buy a plunger? Or are you going to go to the dollar store? Probably the dollar store. So Dollarama benefits big time from a recession, because as more and more people are trying to make their dollar stretch further and further, the cheaper options at the dollar store become huge. And a lot of times you got to look at it this way. Like, this is how I normally would approach something. It's like, do I want to buy this at the dollar store cheap and have it break in a year? Or would I rather just pay a bit more somewhere else and, have a better quality widget, or whatever we're going to call it? I normally would say I want the better quality one, because I want it to last. But in a recession where you're thinking, okay, well, this is short term. The financial crisis that we're in is short term. Things will get better. So because of that, you're like, I'll just pay the cheap one now. Keep money in my pocket now when I need it. A year from now, when it breaks, that's fine. That's fine. So that's kind of where a lot of mindsets go. And that's really good for Dollarama. So yeah, Dollarama is they're gonna do well. They're gonna do well. I think they're a company that dollar cost averaging into them is never a bad thing. We might get a little bit of a correction, hopefully. That would be fantastic. But I think normally, yeah, we're gonna see this develop pretty good. Jersky says, yeah, this is it. This is it. That's the guy. That's the guy. Steve Smith scored on his own team in a loss. Yeah, against Calgary. The Battle of Alberta. I think I was living in Alberta at the time, so that's why it was kind of big news. Oh, nope, I don't think I was, because now Jersky mentioned 86. No, I was not living in Alberta in 86. So, yeah, it was interesting. All right. Let's see. Money pulled out of CEP and into ASST. Hopefully, Booty, you got in before that big giant explosion. That's that would be good. Danielle says, that's what I was thinking. I like the business of Adoro, but I'm still careful. I bought a few shares when it was around 550. The stock went up by 13% last week. Yeah, absolutely. Vic, sorry, before I get to you, Vic. Yeah, no, I think that's the whole thing. With a company like that, I talk about play money. When I talk about play money, that's kind of like if you have a small portion of your portfolio, and you don't have to do this, guys. You don't have to do this, but if you have a small portion, you could say something like, "Maybe, well, 1% of my portfolio is my speculation money," and that's kind of the type of money I would use on something like Adoro. And I hope, honestly, I hope I'm so wrong about Adoro. I hope they explode. Because if their technology does what I think it does, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. All right. Vic wants to know, why did Air Canada shoot up? Well, good old Air Canada. And as you guys know, I got a swing trade going on Air Canada that I do in the challenge. So let's bring up Air Canada here. So right now they're sitting at 1754. Look at that. Insane. So the challenge, and this is our second Air Canada swing in the challenge. So basically every month when it is below $17, I'm adding some stocks. So and with the challenge, I mean, where it's a limited budget challenge, 10. So 10 shares a month are added anytime it drops below 17. Now, once it gets up to, and I believe it was 21, it might be 22. I have to go double check. 21, between 21 and 22, I'm going to sell it all. So it's just a big swing trade, a way to create a little bit of extra cash. But now, the last time we did this, the rules were if anytime it was under $15 and I sold it, I would sell at 20. So what ended up happening is quite literally, we started the challenge, then they had their earnings report, and crikey, they went up. I mean, well, let's take a look. Did I just say crikey? Holy cow. This is where the last challenge was down in here. I started it down in here, and you can see this is what happened. They had a very good earnings, and they also announced that they were going to be doing share buybacks. So that got people very, very excited. Then we had all of the stuff with Trump and the tariffs drop everything back down. And guess what happened again? Earnings. They had their earnings report. And let's just go down here. Let me show you. So here is their earnings right here. And they beat by 13.78% on earnings. They were down on revenue, but that's fine. People were excited about this. So this was enough to drive them big time up on Friday, that earnings report. We may see them move up a bit more on Monday, and we'll see what happens during this week. If we do have this stable kind of green week, we could make up some more room on Air Canada. Now, mind you, I'm kind of hoping, my plan with this Air Canada swing trade is that I wanted it to last about a year. I was hoping for about a year. I was hoping to be just adding and adding for a year. That may not happen. I may not get that opportunity. So, yeah, it's looking darn good. It's looking darn good. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. Now, all right, let's. Oh, hey, how did the bell get in here? He should not. There we go. He should not be in this one. I think I must have. I know what I did. I know what I did. That was me. That was me. All right. Okay. Danielle says, I just have a feeling it could be big as they seem to be the only ones with this technology. Thanks, Candace. I love your videos. Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. And that's the thing. I hope your feeling is right, Danielle. I would love to see them absolutely explode. Would love to see it for sure. All right. Paul says my ASST trade in the end was 20 IBIT to 37 IBIT. So yeah, that's not too shabby. You came close to doubling the amount of IBIT that you had just by doing that little we'll call it a swing because that's technically what it is, that little swing. Larry's in the house with a China. Rory says, good afternoon. And Paul says, hi, Larry. What is your newest DGen investment? All right. And Michael says, can I get your thoughts on Aecon Group, the infrastructure rival of Bird? All right. Well, let's pull up Aecon. I haven't looked at them in a while, actually. All right. Here we go. Aecon Group. And as you guys know, Bird Construction, I love Bird Construction. I love them a lot. But this here is Aecon Group. And we'll pull them up here. And you can see, I mean, they had been doing pretty good. And then, of course, Trump, this is the influence of Trump. I have a feeling on the other side of Trump, we'll have this thing in the market that'll be left like a dent that I will be able to, like 5 years from now, say, oh, and there's the Trump dent. I'm expecting to see something like that, but a good old Aecon Group here, and as you can see, let's see here, they operate in constructions concessions, so they have different infrastructure projects. So it's all about infrastructure. So I like this company. I think they have a lot of potential. Let's just check a couple of their key data things here. All right. Let's take a look. So right now, they've got negative return on equity. That I don't like. That I don't like at all. And that would make me, when I see a negative, I normally think, okay, that makes it look like they're unprofitable. But I would have to, of course, I'll have to investigate to find out if they are unprofitable because, actually, I have to go to the front page here. And yeah, right now I'm not getting any EPS. So this would be something to make me go, okay, I just realized I'm not sharing the screen. Here we go. I am sorry. All right, so this here is Aecon Group here. Holy banana bread. It's been a while since I've gone on a little slew here without sharing the screen. All right, now that's the 5 days, but like I said, here's the 1 year. You can sort of see they had been, I'm going to go to 3 years. They had been doing well, but then all of the latest tariff stuff. So this is all of that crap that goes on. You can see it. That would be maybe the beginnings of that Trump dent I'm talking about. I do like them, but they are currently with a negative ROI that I'm concerned about. It could be rough for them, but I think they'll be fine on the other end. They've only got 16% debt to equity, so they've got lots of room. They can take on more debt if they really need to survive. Once we get now, if the government does the building, puts the big emphasis on building infrastructure, if we can get that pipeline, that will be good for a lot of companies like Bird Construction, like Aecon. So I think I still like them. I still like them, but I really, really would want to see that. I want to see that return on equity flip to the positive. I really want to see that because right now, uncomfortable. I wouldn't go very deep into them, but I can still like them. I can still like them. Larry says, I'm just holding SOXL and NVDX for flips. I'm up 80% and 40%. Awesome. Mario's in the house with a good afternoon. After NVIDIA CEO said China is not behind on chips and tech, I was hoping Trump would just drop China chip ban. And he did. Nice. Yeah, it's always... That's the thing about Trump. He is very, very unpredictable. We don't know what he's going to do. All right. And we did share that screen. All right. Danielle says, I already have Fortis. I love Fortis, by the way. Fortis, those of you who are new to the stream, that was the very first stock I ever bought was Fortis. So I do love Fortis. And Fortis is also one of the two dividend kings that we have in Canada. That means they have raised their dividends consecutively for 50 plus years. I think Fortis right now is on 51. So that's really, really cool. Capital Power. Yeah. All right. And you're thinking of adding Hydro One. Let's see. You're worried it might be high. What are your thoughts? All right. Let's go to Hydro One, ticker H. I recently did a deep dive on Hydro One within the last, I'd say 6 months, but I do like Hydro One. So Hydro One, it's a utility company. Now, utility companies right now, they're in a good position for two reasons. They've got two positive catalysts happening for them. One, they're recession proof. So what that means is that people still need power. Even if we go into a recession, people still need power. So they're going to still have customers. On top of that, being regulated means that they have a lot of contracts, like long-term contracts, where the rates have already been set for years. So those won't even be impacted. Those will still flow as normal. And I guess there's three good points. The third with Hydro One and other utility companies like Fortis as well, is that, well, we're in a low rate environment. So what that means is that this is when these companies start actually taking out loans when there's a low rate environment. And why do they take out loans? Like, well, to build more infrastructure, to expand. So in some cases, they might be bringing on more renewable projects. But yeah, that's what they do. So they respond well to low rate environments. So we got three positive stimuli for them. Now, yeah, there's going to be some negative stuff as well, but for the most part, I think utilities are going to do absolutely fine going through the recession. They're one of the sectors that I'm certainly shoring up in my defensive aspects of my portfolio for that reason. Zozo traders in the house, and yes, share the screen. Don't do that to us again. Let's see, Larry says, as far as new investments, TUYA, Chinese tech company, I'm really liking. They have more assets than market cap and make a significant amount. They're half of RN. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, could be interesting. And I'm actually not familiar with this company, so I might have to take a peek. Paul says, I bought a bit of strategy, STRK preferred shares, 8.6% dividend for something cash-like with future 10 shares convert to one micro strategy or one. Well, I guess it's still strategy. It's so hard to not say micro. What can I say? Bill is in the house. Restrictions on AI chips to China weren't lifted. Diffusion rule is being discarded for a new undisclosed system. I'm pretty sure it's to bring Middle East money into the data center cool club. Interesting. Very interesting. By far, I think the whole the China tariff thing is not even remotely finished. Danielle says Fortis and Royal were my two first stocks. Don't remember which one. Let's just say it was Fortis. We'll just say it was Fortis, and then we can both be in the first time Fortis club. That sounds fun to me. Paul says glad I switched Wealthsimple to Questrade. No preferred shares at Wealthsimple. Interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Tuya has 1.2 billion in cash, makes 300 million per year. Market cap 1.4 billion. Now 233 per share. Okay. 5 million in debt. All right. Well, guys, we can actually get to a news story because I caught up. All right. We're now on to oil. So OPEC. OPEC is looking to hike their oil production for the second month in a row. So they have agreed to accelerate oil production, raising their output in June by 411,000 barrels per day. Yep. Despite falling, they're doing this despite the fact that oil prices have been falling, and there are expectations of weaker demand currently in the market. But they, as far as OPEC is concerned, they believe that the overall oil sector has pretty healthy fundamentals, and they also are thinking that there's a lot of low inventory out there, so they're hoping to capitalize on people, filling back up things like, well, for example, the U.S. Strategic Oil Reserve. They got to fill that back up. So prices go down, and that's when those things happen, and they want to be taking advantage of that. Now, oil prices actually fell to a 4-year low in April, below $60 per barrel. That was after OPEC announced bigger than expected basically output increases back in May. So yikes! Well, not back in May, for May. These new ones are for June. This is going to be fun. Of course, Donald Trump and his tariffs, they've been raising some concerns of global economic weakness, and this is just one more thing to add to it for sure. Now, one question that I have heard, somebody asked on one of the videos is that, hey, $60 oil, does that make it unprofitable for Canada? The answer is no, not yet. Depending on the type of oil, if you look at the oil sands, our break-even mark falls between $40 and $45 a barrel, depending on whether it's on the type of bitumen that we're looking at. Now, if you look at our off-sea, so our Newfoundland oil, that's between 50 and 60. So it's they're not making a lot of money right now in Newfoundland because of the price being as low as it is. But at one point though, keep in mind, technology has come really far from the oil sands. If you go back even as far as the 70s, we had all of this oil sands, but it was too expensive to really process it. The cost is coming down. It's come down quite a bit. And as we develop more technology, that price will probably even come down a little bit further. So, but nonetheless, for those of us holding our oil stocks, looks like we're going to have longer to keep on averaging our averaging down. Oil's one of those. It's a sector where you can have like a couple of years of it being down, but it always comes back. So that's something to keep in mind. So I will, I'll keep adding. Like I think I did add more Canadian natural resources this time around to the challenge. Rory says, for single utility stocks, I have CU and ATCO with Capital Power. Yeah, now ATCO and CU. So CU is basically an affiliate of ATCO. So yeah, it's cool. I like them both. I do like them both. And of course, CU, Canadian Utilities, they're the other dividend king, by the way. I mentioned earlier about Fortis. The other one is Canadian Utilities. And I believe they're around 54 years. That might be getting pretty close to 55 now. Ian is in the house. I've been really busy working, missed a lot of streams, but I'm here now. All right. Awesomeness. Awesome. Great to see you, Ian. Great to see you. Hopefully everything is going well today in Colombia. Hopefully you're still in Colombia. Otherwise, that would have been dumb. Eric Nuttall believes U.S. shale is in its twilight, so we'll see. The fun thing. And this is the whole thing. When you guys hear about the whole controversy about Trump saying that they don't need Canadian oil, they, if anything, it would be dumb to not need Canadian oil, because where we can't process our own oil, well, we can a little bit, but we're selling the unprocessed oil, and it's all basically heavy crude out of the oil sands. We're selling that to the U.S. at a discount. They're getting it at a great price. They're then processing it, and they're reselling. They're reselling some of our oil. They're also selling their own oil at a much higher price. So they're actually making money by taking our oil, which is kind of that funny thing that I think Trump doesn't seem to realize. But yeah, they're making money off of us big time. Now, and this is the thing, I know Polyev talked a lot about how we should be doing all of our own processing, and we really should. But whether or not the liberals will get us there, that's yet to be seen. The jury is out, but we need it for sure. Let's see. Vic says, will there be a reciprocal dip in July 2025? That's we'll find out in July. That's for sure. All right. Michael says, did you hear about Sunoco's offer to buy Parkland? I'm confused about the power struggle underway with Parkland's board. So yes, I have heard that Sunoco was looking to buy Parkland, and as far as I know, pretty much right now, the last hurdle in this is the Canadian government. They can step in and say no to it. I don't think they're gonna, though. I think it's gonna go through, but they do have that as a option. King of Day says, I have to go mow the lawn. See you all next week. Happy investing, everyone. Thanks, Candace. Oh, you're welcome. Mowing the lawn. Yeah. Though that's never fun. They mowed the lawn here yesterday. All right, guys. Let's pop up to our next story. Of course, is our trade war front lines. So, as you guys know, the prime minister, our new prime minister, Mark Carney, he headed to the White House for his first meeting with Trump, and that happened. What was that? Tuesday. So they held a press conference where Trump, unsurprisingly, did most of the talking. It's and that's probably, you know what, keeping your mouth shut in that situation was probably the smartest thing that Carney did, for sure. Now they also had a working lunch that was flanked by those top advisors, so we'll have to see how that goes. It doesn't look like a lot got accomplished. Trump did reaffirm that he won't lift tariffs on Canada, but that he was open to eventually renegotiating, of course, the Canadian, United States, Mexico agreement, so SUSMA. He did say the U.S. doesn't need Canadian auto and steel exports, and repeated, you gotta love it, his claim about subsidizing Canada by the tune of $200 billion. Nobody really knows where those numbers come from. I suspect, this is my suspicion, I suspect that he's looking at the trade imbalance, which is about, honestly, I think it's only about 60 to 80 billion. So it's nowhere near the 200 billion, but I think he's marking it up, saying things like, all right, well, we protect them militarily. Let's add some for that. So I think it's all this other stuff. I think he's just sort of throwing in some numbers, and that's where he might be coming up with it, but he's never really broken it down. He's never given us a definitive answer on where this 200 billion, and the number changes. Sometimes it's 200 billion, sometimes it's 300 billion. It's pretty much whatever comes out at the time he's being asked. So we had that meeting. Carney did have a few good answers. He did okay. He did okay against Trump. So that's good. But to me, that's not even the real battle. I mean, you can't really, I don't think we can change Trump. As long as Trump's not annoyed with us, fine, great. Now let's get home. Let's get stuff built. That's what I want to see. Now, Trump also announced movie tariffs this week. So over there on good old Truth Social, he said that he wants to add 100% tariff to movies that are not made in the U.S. And this, of course, is all basically he wants to revitalize the U.S. movie production market. Um, apparently, he's saying that we got to act on this because it's a national threat to the United States. The fact that all of the foreign countries are using tax incentives to get their way and to get all them movies made from Hollywood. So here's the thing. Nobody has any idea whatsoever how we could even implement 100% tariff on foreign made movies. It's actually unclear as well. Is this going to include television shows? Nobody knows. Now, if these tariffs actually do happen, so if he finds a way to implement them, this would not be good for Canada. It would decimate the Canadian film industry. Right now, we have generous tax credits to Hollywood to make movies. Hallmark. Pretty much every province, I think, has been used as a setting for a Hallmark movie, especially their Christmas movies. They just make them like crazy right across Canada. If you've ever been to Vancouver, now they've made so many movies in Vancouver. It's crazy how many times I'm watching a movie and I spot something I recognize from Vancouver. And at one point, I used to work downtown in Vancouver, and the building that was right next to the building I worked in was being used constantly. So back in the day when Fox did the Fantastic Four, it was the Baxter Building. For Smallville, it was the Daily Planet. Like quite literally, there were days I came out of work and there'd be like a LexCorp van or semi parked across the street, and there'd be Daily Planet news boxes all over the place. So it was always fun. It was fun. I thought it was pretty cool. Actually, one of the neatest things I ever saw is I was coming to work one day, and there was two guys in suits, and they were fighting in slow motion, and they were being filmed as it was happening. But I was just watching. I'm like, my God, that's really good choreography. And of course, they just obviously they speed up the film to make it look like a legitimate fun fight. But I was just like, I never really thought that they filmed things in slow motion. I just figured it was stunt guys. But it was cool. It was absolutely pretty darn cool. All right. Rory says, yeah, I have to dig out the summer tires later. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I think, and I might be jinxing the country by saying this, but I think it's safe to put on the summer tires now. I think it's safe. Oh boy. Yeah, if it snows where you're at, you can blame me 100%. Mario says, my Parkland went up lots, finally going to sell it at a nice profit. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. Ian says, oh, okay, so you are back in Saskatchewan. So you're back in Saskatchewan working in a coal-powered power plant. Oh my. Be here until mid-October, then probably take 6 months off. Go back to Colombia for those 6 months, avoid the winter again. Yeah, a coal power. I wonder how many coal-powered power plants Canada still has. That's a good question. It's a really good question. I don't know. Larry says, American movies are so bad now, just the same crap and bad writing. I've noticed, I will admit, and we talked a little bit about this the other day. I'm a plot person. Like I said, I don't care who the movie is. I don't care who the actors are. I don't care what color their skin is. I care nothing about that. But I care about one thing. I care about the plot. Give me a good story, and everything else, that's supplemental. If that story is good, rivets my attention, is not predictable. I love to have the rug yanked out from under my feet when I'm watching a movie. This hasn't happened that much anymore. It doesn't happen. It almost never happens anymore. And that's a shame. That's a shame. I just don't know if it's a situation where because there's so much pressure to make a lot of money, you almost have to dumb down movies quite a bit for for the lowest common denominator. The lowest common denominator. And because they're filming for that, if you like the intellectual movies, if you like you know, the thing, that rug pull, you just don't get it as much anymore. I have noticed this. I have noticed this. So, um, but I think the box office has noticed it as well. A lot of movies have bombed big time. I I think Hollywood's going to start looking and saying we need to go back to the way movies were. Um, let's see how that happens. I hope it does. I mean, I'd love to have some good movies again. Rory says Trump should tariff the CPC. I don't know if he can do that. Oh boy. Mr. Bean. Now that was entertainment. Good old Mr. Bean. Absolutely. Yeah. Mr. Bean is definitely fun. Definitely fun for sure. Holy banana bread. All right. Let's get to let's move on to our next story. All right. So Tim Hortons. So Tim Hortons, of course, they are part of what is it? RFI. I was going to say RBI, Restaurant Brands International. They have come out with this new item. They're teaming up with Ryan Reynolds to bring us breakfast boxes. So it's basically scrambled egg breakfast boxes. They come with bacon or sausage, and they include scrambled eggs, hash browns, and chipotle sauce. So it could be interesting. It could definitely be interesting. I'm not well. Apparently, the reason they chose Ryan Reynolds, well, popularity would be one reason, but apparently he's a lover of scrambled eggs. So what can I say? He says that when his family eats at home, he will eat an irresponsible amount of eggs. So that's kind of interesting. So we'll have to see how this goes. Now, if this campaign works really well, they are thinking about doing more things with Ryan Reynolds. I like this campaign better than the Bieber balls one. So I just I couldn't get in on the Bieber one. So, but this one, yeah, why not? Why not? I think it's cool. Now, part of the whole reason as well for this is that Tim's has noticed that right now their breakfast menu is kind of their weakness, their weak spot. So they are looking to strengthen their morning menu, basically. And this is their 60th anniversary year. So Tim's has been around for 60 years, and that's what they're doing. This could be interesting. This could be interesting. So far, they have said that they have actually experienced a little bit of a down on their breakfast. So they're saying everything from hybrid work and inflation have been really hurting their morning foot traffic. So that's one of the reasons that they're coming out with this breakfast box, because it's portable. You just go, you pick up your box of breakfast and you take it with you. Could be interesting. Could be interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But they are saying that there could be more Ryan Reynolds branded items hitting their menus soon. I have not I don't know if these are available yet, but if they are, have any of you guys had a breakfast box? Kind of curious. Ian says movies bomb because young people don't have the attention span for movies anymore. That's not a bad point. Not a bad point. Like, hey, that's a 2-hour commitment. I got things to do on my phone. Rory saying Saskatchewan has 3 coal-fired plants around Estevan. Okay, interesting. Paul says Accountant 2 is really good recent movie with Ben Affleck and John Berthanel. Berthanel is that? Yeah, the guy from The Punisher. Yeah, and yeah, season 1 and 2 of The Walking Dead. All right. Let's see. Does it come with a roll of toilet paper? What, the breakfast box? That'd be fun. And you could take it camping with you. Uh, let's see. I will not go to Tim's and Subway anymore since they do not hire Canadians anymore. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Um, all right. Isaac says, I was able to buy some CTKB, but it went down more after I bought it. That happens. That happens. And in a case like that, there's two options. Investors, I find, will have two different mindsets. If you buy a stock and it goes down right away, some of those investors are like, oh crap, I made a mistake. I better get out of this now, and they take a little loss. Then you got the other investor who's like, well, the fundamentals haven't changed. I still like the stock. I'm going to just buy some more, average down. Those tend to be the two different ways people will handle something like that. But if you like a company, if it has good fundamentals, I usually won't. I won't sell just because it went down after I bought it. It happens. It does happen. I'll just be like, I wish I had waited 20 minutes. Prairie says, hope Ryan Reynolds is getting paid well for this campaign. My daughter and I tried the breakfast boxes yesterday morning on the way out to the lake. Gravely disappointed. Oh my. Okay. So they're not good? Are they not good? Uh-oh. This is not good. Well, hopefully it was just that. Hopefully it was an isolated event, but first I hear on these boxes, disappointment. I'm not liking that. Bismarcky says, hey, Timmy's, we don't want to pay $6 for subpar coffee and a bagel. Just putting it out there. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Kevin Cass says, I find with the more cerebral films, I like to wait so I can subtitle and actually catch the dialogue as the music is way too loud and drowns things out. Interesting. Yeah, that is kind of an interesting thing. It's actually funny. So when I watch movies, because those of you who don't know, Jill is visually impaired. So we have to watch. So we watch our movies with the audio dialogue on. Now, if you ever watch movie with audio dialogue on, you would be surprised how many times the audio dialogue will spoil a jump scare. It's like, you're sitting there and the tension's building, and then the audio will be like, and then the monster leaps out of the closet. And then it happens on the screen, and you already know because the audio dialogue just told you. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. But with captions, watching the captions, that's an interesting idea. I like that. I like that. Rory says, I see dumb people burning their gas, waiting for the coffee. Better to make it at home. Not hard to do. Yeah, I'll have Timmy's every so often if I'm out and about. But for the most part, yeah, I enjoy my coffee at home. Absolutely. Let's see. Prairie says, I love my Timmy's. Yeah. Although I used to get a lot of Timmy's. I used to work in a print shop once. And one of the things about the print shop is I wasn't allowed to accept tips. But I was allowed, as funny as it sounds, I wasn't allowed to accept cash tips, but I was allowed to accept like Tim Hortons cards. So customers who were really happy used to bring me gift cards from Tim Hortons like all the times. This is just like, okay, this is fun. Here we go. Let's see. Waiting for the next TV series worth binging. Andor season 2 is pretty good so far. 3 episodes a week over 4 weeks. Each week is supposed to be 1 year. Yeah, absolutely. I am watching Andor. One of the things I like about Andor. Now this season, I find it a little bit slower than the first season. But there's a lot of politics in Andor. And the reality is, I find the politics in Andor to be very, very much realistic. Like a lot of sci-fi shows, they're not very they're not always that great at showing the politics side, but Andor's been really good at it. Um, you can sort of see parallels where a lot of times, you see that whole thing where it's not like things work A, B, C. It's like some things happen within the politics because somebody's just trying to cover their own butt. And that happens, I find, quite a bit, and I like that. I actually like that. So I am looking forward. I think there's only 3 episodes left of Andor this week. Yeah, descriptive audio. Yeah, gotta love it. Rory says Stranger Things 5. I'm waiting for. Yeah. Stranger Things 5 is I think it's coming out this summer. All right, and Kevin says The Expanse does interesting politics as well. Yeah, absolutely. Now The Expanse, those of you who have not seen The Expanse, probably one of the best sci-fi series that's out there. What I like about The Expanse is that a lot of the technologies that they use in that series are technologies that we pretty much already know that we can make. We may not quite be there yet, but they don't, you don't have a lot of outside the box stuff. It feels like a progression that we actually could make from where we're at now. So that's one of the things I like. I believe 5 seasons. Now, I know it was canceled after that, but I have heard rumors that they want to make another at least a movie or something continuation. So I'll have to see. I haven't heard anything about that. I only heard that I think I heard that about 6 months ago. But really, 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 really good. What's The Expanse on? Prime. Yeah, exactly. Prime. It's on Prime. Let's see. Chernobyl was my favorite a few years back. I have not yet watched Chernobyl, but it is something I would like. Let's see. BET. Fringe is good sci-fi. The Walter Bishop actor is really good. Yes, I did watch Fringe. I thoroughly enjoyed Fringe. I thought Fringe was pretty good. So I'd agree with you there 100%. All right. Now we got a small little story on flying, autonomous flying. So in September 2023, there was a retrofitted Quad Challenger 2 aircraft that flew 50 kilometers from Cochrane to Iroquois Falls. There we go, and back entirely without pilot intervention. So this is kind of one of these things that we're looking at. We're looking at right now. There's a lot of development on for these. Basically, it's an AI delivery system. So the test that was ran back in 2023, the aircraft was able to taxi, take off, fly, and land completely on its own. No instructions, nothing. It just it was pretty cool. So they actually did during that test 4 round trips. And this breakthrough was led by a team called Ribbit. So they're a Toronto-based aviation startup focused on autonomous cargo flights in the Canadian remote north. So yeah, they're just talking a little bit about their technology and that they're moving forward. This is a company I don't believe they've IPO'd yet, but it is a company to watch as we look at just finding newer ways. Now, with climate change, and this is why this is important, with climate change, a lot of these permafrost highways, a lot of them are kind of breaking down. They're kind of breaking down, and this is going to become one of those ways that we can get at least more stuff to the north cheaper, because that's the whole thing, especially in the summer. Oh, boy, it gets pretty darn expensive. And it's one of the reasons it's really expensive to live in the Canadian North. I don't know if we have anybody here from the Canadian North. I'm just wondering. Anybody here from the territories or Nunavut, Northwest Territories, Yukon Territories? Be kind of curious to know. Definitely would be curious to know for sure. All right. And very quickly, let's just get this last story out of the way. Quebec. They have they've got a new law. They got a new law in Quebec that's dropping. It's basically designed to tame tipping. So what this law does is it forces businesses to do their tips when you go to the final machine. Um, Normally, what happens now is that, let's say you click on that 25% tip or 10% tip or 15% tip. I don't even know if they give you those low ones, but they will tip it on the price after all the taxes have been added. Well, Quebec has said, no, 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 it doesn't work that way. You have to do it on the price of the meal. So, give you an example. Let's say you choose the 15%. And with that 15%, if the old system, you're actually tipping them 17.25%. So, if it was a $50 meal, 15% on that is $7.50, but you would end up paying $8.62 with those machines. And the machines don't even really kind of tell you that. They just say, they just give you the percentages. But Quebec is the first province to sort of say, not anymore. You got to do it on the pre-tax amount. You can't be pulling it. You can't be pulling the taxes into it as well. So I like this. I like this now. Interestingly enough, once they started doing this, once you pay for your meal, you got the tip thing right away. A lot of people tip higher because of the thing. I think it's just like, I don't know what it is. Are you afraid that if somebody sees you hit the lower amount or hit the other? But yeah, no, people tend to tip a lot bigger. In fact, recent surveys show that 62% of Canadians leave bigger tips thanks to those terminal recommendations. Now, servers will earn. So just to point out, your servers, they earn about 75% of their income from the tips. So I don't want to downcast on that. Now, some businesses, they are fearing that this new law is going to make their staff want bigger wages to make up for that little bit that they've lost. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to sort of see how that all rolls out. But I like the law. I think tipping's gotten out of control, and I would rather see restaurants pay a little bit more to their employees so that I don't have to tip as much. Call me cheap, maybe. Call me cheap. I'm not sure. All right, coming up this week, well, not a lot in Canada. It's a pretty slow week, but down south of the border on Tuesday, they got the CPI dropping, and we got some retail sales data as well as the PPI dropping on Thursday. Earnings wise, in Canada, our Constellation Software, we got earnings dropping. Power Corporation of Canada, NPI, Boyd. Down south of the border, a couple of big ones, Walmart, Baba, Cisco, and John Deere, all dropping earnings. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. We're done the news. The news is done. Now it's just us. It's just you guys and me, and whatever you guys want to talk about, we're good. All right. Rory says, HK's hunter killers from Terminator could be a thing. Interesting. Cheating their customers. That's scummy. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. That's like taxes are always supposed to be the very last thing. So yeah, I was actually, here's the thing. I will honestly admit this. I didn't know those machines were including the taxes when they were doing their calculations. I didn't actually know. I did not know until researching that article. I was just like, what? This is a thing? So now I know. Now I know. All right. Have a look at Trade Desk in USA. So TTD. All right. We'll I thought I tried here, but maybe let's try this again. TTD. Yeah. See, I'm getting this tinkerding. Is that what is that, Vic? Is that a ticker? Because I don't know. Let me try. I'm going to try just Trade Desk. Now, it might be because I am, whoops. Sometimes I find that, hello, there we go. Sometimes I find that TMX does not. Here we go. Yeah, look, here it is. TTD, the trade desk. Holy banana bread. For some reason, I was typing in TTD and it was bringing up this other thing. But here we go. We have it now. It's sometimes it gets funky with some of the American stuff, but I'm liking this. I'm liking this big drop, this big jump. I'm going to pull up the 3 years though and take a gander. Okay. All right. So yeah, look at this. This is pretty healthy. There is the Trump divot. Yeah, there's our Trump, our little Trump hole. Trump's hole in one. There we go. What can I say? But so let's take a look here. All right, so it's a growth stock. Earnings per share 61. Okay, let me come in here. Kind of curious to see what we got here going on down here. Ooh, I'm liking this. Not a lot of debt. 12% debt to equity ratio. Return on equity, 16.88%. I can live with that. 7.95. Yeah, these numbers are not bad. So here we go. So this here is the trade desk. Now it's not. Give me 1 second here. Let me just get back to the front. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, yeah, they're a tech company, self-service, cloud-based, ads, optimized, data-driven. Okay, interesting. I do like it. I like this. I think it can definitely do well, but at the same time, there could be, depending on what happens in the economy. So if the U.S. ends up in a recession, and it's not clear that they will, but if they do, there could be impacts on things along the lines of ads. Companies won't have as big of a budget. And that could impact companies like, for example, the trade desk. But we'll see. We'll have to play it by ear. But not bad. I mean, I do like the fundamentals. And I think even if we went into a recession in the U.S., a company like this, I think on the other side is probably going to be fine. So it could be an opportunity to basically dollar cost average in, and that could be very, very, very interesting. All right. Prairie says, I have no problem hitting no tip if the service was lousy. Nice. Now here's that question though. And be honest, how many of you will still tip if the service was lousy? How many of you refuse to go with no tip? I'm just kind of curious. I will admit, I usually still tip. I usually will still tip, but they won't be getting the top one. They might be getting the lower one. So maybe if it's a 5%. But yeah, how many of you will actually tip? I'm already counting in that list. How many of you will tip if you get bad service? How many of you will? And let me throw this other thing too. If you're a regular and this person serves you a lot, are you afraid of not tipping because they might retaliate some way with, with your food or something like that? Just I would probably think that would happen. I might. Now I will sometimes make some unusual comments. I'll give you an example. I ordered this thing. I'd never had it before. It was a seafood pizza. And I love seafood. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. It was ho-hum. So the waitress did not give me bad service. She gave me excellent service. But she wanted to know what I thought of the pizza. So she says, oh, how was it? And my response, I did not want to say anything bad about it because, Nova Scotian, it's hard to say bad things. My response was, oh, well, it's there. That was my response. Yeah, it's there. So yeah. Oh dear. Kevin Gass says, I'm wondering if you had any opinions on Wajax. let's take a look. I haven't looked at them in a while, but good old Wajax Corporation here. First of all, let's jump into the 3-year. So you can see they were doing, once again, there's that the Trump dump. Oh, I like that. The Trump dump. I love it. All right. Yeah, that's what we'll call it, the Trump dump. So yeah, we can see that we got a Trump dump in there developing, but let's take a look. We got a half decent dividend, 6.3% quarterly. They're profitable. I like that. Now this is, and you'll notice here, industrial. So yeah, it is within the industrial sector. I do like the industrial sector, and I see if we do the building that the Liberals are promising, if we do it, if we start working on a lot of these projects, I think companies like Wajax will probably be fine. They will certainly get a good portion of some of that money that's going to flow. So yeah, no, I like Wajax. I like Wajax. Now, let's just, in all fairness, we should go in and take a look. So their debt to equity, a little high, 107%, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Like if this was like, this was above 2, I'd be a little bit more concerned, but return on equity, 8.49%. So yeah, it's not too shabby. It's not too shabby. All right. Let's pull this up here. We got Vaughn in the house late, but still enjoying the podcast. I've never really thought of the live stream as a podcast, but it's kind of like a podcast. Although, and I've been mulling this over. I'm thinking of doing a podcast once a month. It'll be on the channel. It'd be like a live stream, but without the without you guys per se. So it would be like it would be pre-recorded. And it would basically, I would have a topic or something that I would just talk about endlessly for like, I don't know, an hour. But this is, like I said, it's still a fancy idea. It may not even happen. But anyway, I was thinking about that. Rory says, Warren Buffett is still holding money, waiting for better prices in an overvalued U.S. market. Berkshire isn't really buying anything at the moment, last I heard. Yeah, he's definitely holding back on the cash. So, and that's kind of what we were mentioning with when we were talking about Greg Abel. That's going to be some of the first things that's going to fall on him. I don't think Warren's going to spend any of it before he steps down at the end of the year. All right, what is your view on BNT? All right, let's take a gander. Whoa, that's BNMR. BNT though. All right. Brookfield Wealth Solutions. All right. I am a fan of Brookfield overall. Now, not all of their companies have been doing well, but this one, I'm kind of, it's not bad. It's not bad. Like you'll notice here, where everybody else went into the Trump dump, they've actually been doing pretty. Well, wait a minute. What am I on here? Oh, I'm on the 5-year. Never mind. I thought I was on a much shorter time frame. But yeah, here's their little Trump dump right in there. There's our Trump dump. Okay. I still like. I like this company. I do. I like Brookfield overall. Now this one here, we're looking at financial futures of individuals and institutions through retirement services. That is an area that I think is only going to get bigger, especially as more and more baby boomers move into retirement. And then Gen X is heading there. Gen X is not far behind. Yeah, Gen X exists. Just it's funny. I always see these videos on YouTube where people, Gen Xers, are coming on saying, we exist. It doesn't go from boomers to millennials. Don't forget about Gen X. We're that road bump in between. So yeah, I keep seeing those. I'm a Gen Xer, so I would agree. We exist. Gen Xers are cool. We're kind of that. We're that generation that had no rules. We're the no rules. We don't give an F about anything generation. It's not bad. Anyway, let's move to Larry. Let's see. I tell them off if I don't like the service. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. See, and I come from a place where, I mean, there are. I want to make it. I want to, when I talk about the Nova Scotia stereotype. Yeah, we're super nice, Maritimers, all of that. But we can get mean. We can get mean. I can't, but we can. Norm Peterson never tipped. Oh, really? So Norm, you guys probably remember. Cheers. Everybody would yell Norm. I I actually did watch. I watched a YouTube video once that had every single Norm holler. It was long. I don't even know why I watched it, but it was nostalgic. Vic says, thank you for looking at TTD. Sorry to nag. Interesting digital ad company. Yeah, no, I like it. I think long term it's going to be good. All right. Kiev and Cass in here with a super 279. And that means that Danny here is our goat. Come on, goat. There you are. There you are. Thank you very, very much. Always appreciate the supers. All right. Let's pull us back. Let's see. Paul says Gen X semi-retired. There we go. There we go. More Gen X's. Actually, I think probably the largest generation that watches the channel is we get a lot of Gen X's in the fan base. Yeah, pretty much. I think Gen X and boomers tend to watch this channel more than any others for sure. Let's see. Severia Corp could be worth a look at. Yeah, absolutely. Let's head on over here. I think it's SIS, actually. Let me just see. SIS. There we are, right down here. Severia Corporation. And let me have some coffee here first. All right. So yeah. Oh, look. There's our Trump bump. I'm going to keep using that. Yeah, but no, look, they've been doing pretty good. They've been doing pretty good for sure. They don't have a big yield, 2.779 monthly dividend. And I want to come back in here. Let's go back into a little bit of their data first. Not a lot of debt, 51% debt to equity ratio, 8.63 return on equity. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And we'll head back on over here. All right. So basically, they design, engineer, and manufacture products for personal mobility. So home elevators, wheelchair lifts. So this is kind of the whole thing, because we were talking about retirement. We're talking about, that kind of general, with the boomers. Well, yeah, a lot of the boomers have money too. And this is another important factor. A lot of boomers, they were around when it was easy to get a house, when it was easy to get assets. So a lot of boomers are sitting on a good chunk of cash. Gen X's are sitting here saying, I wonder if I'm going to get some of that when their time is up. Well, maybe not, but yeah, all of these things, being able to, put in an elevator, put in, some wheelchair accessible ramps, things like that. Yeah, I think that's going to be a big industry, and I think Severia, I think they're in the right time for sure. So yeah, I think I like this company. I think this is a good company. I think that they're going to do well. So yeah, it's going to be. I think they're good. Let's see. Newfie's the most fun. Yes. My brother actually lives in St. John's, Newfoundland. He's like, well, he was an air traffic controller. I think now he trains air traffic controllers. But yeah, he's there. He's got two kids who were born there, so they're real. I guess they're real Newfies. I guess I'd call my brother a Newfie. He's been living there for almost 20 years. So yeah, definitely a Newfie. And Newfies are fun. Yeah, I've got a friend who lives in Newfoundland as well. So, and that's the only province I haven't been to. I have not been to Newfoundland yet, but I got lots of places to stay if I go there. So I do have to make a trip there one of these days. Now, one of the things I do want to do, it's not going to happen this year, but once I get this channel to a point where everything is nice and sustainable, I'm really want to do a cross Canada summer. Maybe it's next summer. I don't know. But I'd like to do it where I would do shows from pretty much coast to coast, maybe coast to coast to coast, maybe even go up north because I have not been. I think the farthest north I've ever been has been Edmonton. So I've not been beyond Edmonton. So yeah, that's something I've been thinking about. And I'm like, I would really like to do that. But obviously, I got to get to the point where the channel can fully support me before I can head off onto the road and do a trip of that nature. But it's something I've been thinking about. And I was like, that would be a very cool long-term goal for sure. Paul says, somewhat freedom 55 happened. Oh, there's a slogan. Somewhat freedom 55. I love it. I think for a lot of people, it's kind of in that boat where it's like, can't retire at 55, but I can maybe I can slow down. Maybe. It's hard to say. I always look at it this way. I doubt I'm ever going to retire. I mean, retirement for me, it's probably going to be, I'm still probably going to be doing this. I figure when I retire, it means that instead of 2 videos a week, it'll be 1 video a week. That'll be retirement. Jim says, hey, am I late? A wee bit. Yes, you're late. I can't sugarcoat it. You're late. But you can always catch all the stuff you missed on the replay. Let's see. Rory says White Horse, Yukon is as far north as I've been. Alaska Highway is really loopy. Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, like I said, Edmonton is as far north as I have ever been, but I would love to. I would love. Let's see. Paul says we can pay for everything, but nothing for trips and extras. Okay, so yeah, pretty much. You can meet your expenses, but you just don't have any extras. Yeah, understood. Absolutely. Speaking of cross Canada, where does one find the get together the finance YouTubers attend? That's a good question. There will be. So with Blossom, every summer they do some get-togethers. Last 2 years, it's been the same cities: Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, and Vancouver. Hopefully this year they shake it up a little bit. I'd like to see that, but there's probably going to be the Blossom one. That's, I think, where that'll happen. I just don't know any dates. Nobody's spoken about it yet. But yeah, I imagine we'll start hearing really soon, actually, because they kind of have to get this stuff going together. Paul says, let's see, it is that mortgage with 12 years left and age 57, 864 bi-weekly. Yikes. Yeah, I hear you. Let's see, Calgary would be a good spot. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the thing, though. And with the Blossom one, obviously, I think the only common denominator between all of them is you get Brandon and his dad go to all of them. And I think last year, Canadian in a t-shirt, I think he was at all of them as well. I would really like to get out to one this year. I can't guarantee it, but it's on my list. It's just like it's hard to say. It probably will be the Montreal one if it happens. If they do Montreal this year. Now, last year, there were a lot of people voting for Ottawa. A lot of people, but it didn't happen. But I would love to see Ottawa as well. Then it's easy to get to it. All right. Cool. Thanks. I will keep an eye out for the schedule. Yeah. And I'll let you guys know. Once I know what they're doing over there at Blossom. So, yeah, by the way, guys, Blossom, they are working on their desktop app, and I've shown it on here. Whoops. Let's go back over here. I've shown it on here a few times. So this is their Blossom social app here. It's still in their beta. And I'll just pull up, yeah, we'll go to the profile. Why not? It's still in the beta, but once it is fully out of beta, I know that a few of you have not been able to sign up because you've only got computers, or you just, or maybe you just don't like doing things on your phone. I'm in that group. I don't like doing things on my phone. I would much rather do it on the desktop. But yeah, this is all going to, you'll be able to sign up through here. You'll be able to use my little link here. Oh, I actually have it in here now. Watch. BLOSSOM. Here we go. So I have, I've programmed it in here. Anytime if you want links like this, just exclamation Blossom. I think there's also an exclamation Discord. I got to add everything, but Nightbot should, here we go. Here's Nightbot. Nightbot has the Blossom link. So yeah, by the next stream, I should have all of these programmed in. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. But yeah, I think it's going to be really, really cool. Once we have everything else working on here, like right now, there's a lot of things I still can't do. For example, if I come over here to portfolio, one of the things that I want to be able to do is I want to be able to add to my portfolio. Well, what's this? Yeah, give me 1 second here. All right, there's portfolio, TFSA. Okay. There's something a little bit different here. Normally I have the little thing to, oh, here it is. Add investments. Ooh, this did not work last time. This did not work last time. So, okay. So when you go to add investments, these are the brokers that they currently have. So in Canada, we got Questrade and we got Wealth Simple. Oh, the TD Direct is now in here. So TD Direct you can do. And I think the rest of these are mostly, well, these are your crypto ones up here in the corner, Coinbase, Binance, Kraken. And then the rest, I believe, are US ones. But you don't have to connect your brokerage. You can come down to add investments manually. All right. Well, we at least got that far. Then it would normally, this feature, they're working on it though, because the fact that we got this screen, we didn't get this last time. We got that little QR code last time before we got here. But yeah, you'll be able to, you can add your investments manually. And pretty much, I mean, unless you're using Questrade or Wealth Simple, you kind of have, that's the only game that you, or TD, that's the only game that you have to be able to do that. So that would be very cool. All right. Bismarck says, can you live stream from atop the CN Tower? I have a feeling security would throw me out. I have just a feeling. But if I'm at the CN Tower, I'll ask, or we could do a secret stream where, I'm streaming without them realizing it. They'll just think, well, I can have Jill walk next to me and make it look like I'm talking to her. Maybe that might be a way. All right. Speaking of folks from Newfoundland, that Newfie guy just followed on Blossom. Keep up the great work. Oh, thank you. So yeah. Oh, and that's what I was going to mention, guys. With that link, once you get over there, follow me. I'll follow you back. Because here is what happens. I use this. Now look, somebody just followed me. This could be the Newfie guy. This could be. Is your name Mitch, Newfie guy? Is that you? So yeah, here's Newfie guy. I'm following. Whoops, there we go. I've just followed the Newfie guy because this way here I can see what's going on. Because that's what I do is I like to go into my notifications and I will go through here and I will look, I'll look around and I'll see. And especially if I spot one of you guys who I'm always talking to in here and I see you got a post here, I'm going to go check it out. I may not reply, but I may too. I mean, I look at it that way. So I was just trying to see if I had any guys, post more. Oh, here's somebody else, Vishnu. Oh, I already followed them back. That just didn't update on the thing. So I follow everybody back. I absolutely do. And that's how I keep track. That's how I keep track of you. Um, yeah, anyway, pretty cool. All right. So that is you. There we go. Well, thank you, Mitch. Thank you. Paul says live stream from the dinosaur. Oh, that is that it's an Albertosaurus, isn't it? When you're first coming into the province, they got this statue of I think it's an Albertosaurus. If it's not an Albertosaurus, they missed an opportunity. They definitely missed an opportunity because Albertosaurus. That's what I'm thinking. But another place that would be cool to do a live stream from is actually Drumheller. Drumheller within Drumheller, a dinosaur provincial park in Alberta. That would be very, very cool. Paul said, just send a hello on Blossom Chat. Awesome. No, I can't. I don't yet get Blossom Chat on the beta, but I get that part on my phone. So thank you. I will reply. I will reply. Oh, and Vulcan. Yes. So Vulcan, Alberta. Guys, if you've never been to Vulcan, Alberta, they've got a statue of the Starship Enterprise in the middle. Is it in the middle of the town square? But it's there. It's pretty big. Because Vulcan being one of the planets, one of the key planets in the Star Trek universe. So, that's kind of cool. The dinosaur, you actually go inside and climb the stairs. I don't know if I've seen that one, Paul. I know the Albertosaurus when you come into the province. And I have seen a bunch of statues of them in Drumheller, and then I've also been to the Calgary Zoo. They've got some dinosaur statues sprinkled throughout it. I think they got a Triceratops there. But yeah, no, I've those are the only ones I've seen. I don't recall one that you could climb the stairs, so that would be cool. I can't join Blossom yet. The only option is text me the app. Yeah, I hear you. Hopefully, Rory, they have this working soon. Like I was talking, was it last week I was talking to Brandon? And I was like, Brandon, you got to make this happen. Make it happen. He said it would happen. So let's hope. Paul says it looks like a dinosaur, but not actual dinosaur. Like, man, well, okay, yeah, I would hope not. Because, I mean, technically, all we really have is fossilized bones. But, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I do like dinosaurs. I think they're kind of cool. All right, guys, if you got your last minute questions, get them on in. We're almost at 2 hours. Get your questions in. We'll hit up whatever you guys want to look at. Tomorrow I'm going to film and edit, and the channel members will have it before the end of the day. But our next video, we're going to look at some losers. We're going to look at the blue chip stocks that have not just stumbled in the last year, they've tripped and fallen. So, we're going to look at some, and we're going to look at it through two different lenses. Are these companies ones that maybe we should be buying the dip? Maybe we should be dollar cost averaging, or are these companies we probably should be running from? So we're going to have kind of two of those for sure. Rory says, I was in that dinosaur as a kid in the early 80s. Awesome. Vic says, take care. Thanks, Candace. CSU, 5,000. I know. Well, the other day, and let's just take a look. The other day, it was at 50-50. I thought that was funny. Oh, boy. They've had a good day. They've had a good couple of days here. Let's just go here. Yeah, they continue going up. Look at that, 51.13. 51.13. The road to 6,000 has begun, Vic. It's begun. They might get there. That's fantastic. I love it. Oh gosh, that is so good. All right, guys. So we will be back again on Wednesday for the market close, and I'll give you guys an opportunity on Wednesday to pull in a Friday as well. I know last Friday I just threw it up because I forgot. I forgot to give you guys an opportunity on Wednesday, so I felt bad. So we did it. We did it. Anyway, the bad stocks, that video will be dropping on Tuesday, and I believe Thursday is going to be another deep dive. So I can't wait. It's going to be fun. This is another great weekend. So once again, though, guys, if you're a mother or know a mother, happy Mother's Day going out to all the moms in Canada. Hope you have a fantastic day. Everybody else, take care. We're going to see you guys. We're going to see you guys again on Wednesday. I can't wait. It'll be fun. Until then, guys, thank you for, thank you guys for dropping in. It's been great spending part of the afternoon with you, and have yourself a fantastic start of the week, and let's see what the market's going to do for us on Monday and Tuesday. See you guys Wednesday. Take care.